Hey friends, it is the end of August and we finally have food coming out of the garden. The weather has been really wacky. It was in the low 70s and then a few days later it was 100 degrees. And the garden is still struggling, and I'm struggling with her because I want her to do well. I want her to feel supported. I want her to provide, because it then makes all the work that I did worthwhile, right? But when we lose track and we have an agenda and we try to force, we're living in resistance and things don't work out, and then we kind of spiral, right? Like spiral about all the things. So I was spiraling and have been spiraling about how I'm not getting any food from the garden, how the pests are winning. I mean, you could see all these tomatillos. This will turn into food. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with 100 tomatillos, but there's food. This one isn't close, but some of these are close. So you can see when the paper starts to pull back from the fruit, that's when you know that it is ripe. And some of these are doing that, and some of them are still very much hollow. But at least there's no more cucumber beetles, knock on wood, that I can see. I think I pulled in probably 10 of these Cherokee Purple beefsteak tomatoes because they had split with some of the rain and some of the heat. I have a lot of blossom end rot from the high temperatures. The basil's holding out okay. We did lose a bunch of melons. They rotted. I'm hoping to have this watermelon and this cantaloupe, but they're not really growing. So we have some basil. We have some tomatoes turning on the vine. If they did split, I did take them in. I think I have handled, I'm not so sure, but I think maybe I've gotten rid of some squash borers. There's still some damage here, but I do have fruit. I'm making sure to, yeah, see, there's still damage. I did do homeopathic remedy of camphor. I did it close together. And I haven't seen fresh new damage, I don't think, in a few days, which I'm happy about. Tomorrow I'll do the sulfur. So I did camphor 30 I did camphor 200 because I didn't have camphor 30. Then I did camphor 30, and then tomorrow I'll do the sulfur 200, and that's for like all types of worms. But they're still eating the new blossoms, which is not great, because if they eat the blossoms, there's no fruit. But I do have a lot of fruit on here, so it's promising. That's all the delicata. Like, I really don't have a lot of the Trumbacino, which is surprising because last year that was gangbusters. So I'm just praying that food will come. Maybe September I will just be preserving a lot. I've been harvesting the romas when they've been turning so that critters don't get to them. And I'm going to make bruschetta with them and can it. I saw that. Becky from Acre Homestead did that. A few other people. There was a hornworm on here this weekend. I saw the poop, and I think it was in a tomato. So oh no. Yeah, see, here's another one. So I took that tomato off. See, that's hornworm damage. So I'm hoping that's going to stop it. Stringings are still struggling. See, we've got some bugs on here on the nasturtium, which is typically a trap crop, but you know what? I'm not messing around because I have so many issues. This is a type of pepper seeds. I had saved the seeds from peppers I had gotten, and I had them marked as bell peppers, but they're kind of like elongated bell peppers, which actually I'm more happy about. So there's a bunch of them on here, so that's a good sign. We've got some starting over here as well. The thing that's been doing good is the herbs. Calendula, our chamomile, our mint, our lemon balm. I've had little to no pest issues, except there was some aphids on the calendula that I did basically get rid of. Oh, look, that's slug. Oh, man. I had gotten rid of that plant. Yeah, there's some slug damage. So that's the thing. It's like every time I think I'm one step ahead, I'm not. And so we have a lot of tomatoes, but they're all green. Some of them are starting to turn, but we did have a lot that split and they rotted. And so I just put them in the compost pot. Careful, bug. These tomatoes are still kind of struggling, especially the black strawberry. It's our first year growing it. Not for you. But I am trying to pick whatever is turning. One is turning. You had in your bully, you didn't eat it. We did start harvesting some of the fennel to save. But like, unfortunately these shallots went to seed. And by the time I realized it, it was too late. So, SOL. I did not get any shallots this year. That was actually a second planting. But you can see the plants are still kind of struggling. They still have a lot of disease on them. Again, today it's kind of cool. It was hot this morning when the sun was out, but it was supposed to rain all day today. It has not rained. I seeded a bunch of cucumbers. 2 came up. 1 is already gone. That one is surviving, hopefully. I also did seed peas over here, but not a lot of them came up. I've been harvesting the jalapenos, the jalapenos. We've been enjoying those. I've been stuffing them with dairy-free cheese and baking them. You can't have this. Look, she's trying to eat this tomato. It's not ripe. You can't have it. It's in your bowl. You had tomato today. These are the habaneros. I haven't tried these yet. So I'm hoping to pickle those along with those longer bells and the 2 banana peppers. Cucumbers are struggling, but I have a lot of new growth, which is a good sign. I have 1 on here. I'm letting it stay. I probably should just pick it with the rain that's forecast to come. I'm not sure, but it's interesting. I'm gonna harvest some of these green onions today because I made a Asian slaw with the Napa cabbage. We've got those 2 cabbage there, which they never bolt, which is surprising. Although this Romanescu did nothing. I left this here. I let it have space, and a big disappointment. So I'm going to chop these down, and then I'm going to resow new soil in here and take care of the fall crops that I sowed and put them here and hopefully cover them. But yeah, it's just been a rough time. There's been not a lot of food. There's been a lot of disease and pests. What are you doing in here? And it's just been hard for the garden. It's been hard for me. It's been hot. It's been cold. It's been dry. It's been incredibly humid. All within a week. All within 3 days. Oh. So it's really hard for me to deal with that, let alone the garden to deal with that. So we're trying to give her some grace. She's looking a little wild. I did trim some of this in here, some medicinals, because it was a little bit unruly. You couldn't really walk through here. Now with the fennel, it's kind of unruly as well. But we're doing the best that we can, as we can. I'm gonna just pull these because they're just gonna not last. I did harvest all of the onions out of here. They did not get as big as I would have liked, but we did get food from them. Potatoes have been iffy. Again, these are some volunteer tomatoes that are really struggling. I don't know what variety they are. They do have the potato leaves. This green zebra has fallen and broken a few times. But it's been interesting, to say the least. There's always a lesson that Mother Nature is trying to impart. But I've been feeling an extra sensitive to her struggle this year. The evening primrose is in bloom. I'm hoping to gather those seeds to make oil. You've seen me do that in past videos. But the flowers are pretty resilient. Like, the flowers are doing okay, considering that They no longer have the shade they had from this tree. See the cardinal lobelia I brought over here. This is more lantana I brought home. So I'm trying to encourage her. This crepe myrtle is in bloom for the first time in years. I'm trying to encourage. I'm trying to surrender. I'm trying to be in the shit with Mother Earth, to garner the lesson, the wisdom, to appreciate the knowledge, to build resiliency, to watch from her example. And it's been hard. It's been really, really hard. You can see our datura, our moonflower, has buds on it. This spaghetti squash might actually give us something this year. But like string beans, I have 20 string bean plants. I maybe harvest 10 string beans every other day. Maybe 20 if I'm lucky. So I would have thought I would have had so many string beans. This one cucumber is performing well as well. I'm hoping that it still lasts. And still harvesting some elderberry off of the American, some stragglers off of the European ones. But everything is kind of like, what is happening? There's still lots of bug pressure. We've got, so here's that spittle beetle. I don't know if you can see it. Looks like mucus, like someone either blew their nose or spit on your plant. That is the spit bug, the spit beetle. It has been on everything in the garden. I harvested some comfrey today to dry, to make an infused oil because it's in my pain balm. It's the most popular balm in the shop. So is the spirea. But, I mean, you can see, like, things are happening, but it is a very... There was all spit bug on here too, on the forever sunflowers. This begonia is very happy, but you can see like some things are working out, mostly the flowers. I mean, look at the citronelle and the lemongrass, really big, firecracker really big, the hummingbird's happy. But food has been a premium. So unfortunately, I'm not really buying a lot of produce, but you can see here, this is the damage from the borers. They bored into all the delicata squash. So what I did was I submerged them in water, and then I was pulling the worms out, and then it went into dog food because I was not eating that, because I know real food comes dirty and it comes with bugs, but after pulling so many of them out, I'm like, I'm good. So the food did not go to waste. It did go to the dog. She eats better than most humans, and she did not complain about it. So you can see the string beans look healthy, but they're not really... So I didn't harvest yesterday, so I'll harvest today before the rain. But these were supposed to be bush beans, and they've kind of... Some of them are pulling, so they're breaking. But like marjoram looks great. Butterfly pea, not so much. Rosemary looked good, but it had spittlebug on it. Here's another green onion. But like, yeah, just very erratic. Even on their feverfew, there was spittlebug. Oh, look, here's spittlebug on the chamomile. Like, it's just, even if you try to wash it off, oh, look, it's all over here. If you don't get the beetle off, it just keeps, mucus keeps coming back. Look at it. This is fully covered in it. That's gross. And that's an issue. Like, that's going to spread to all the other plants. Look at this one too. All of it. Look at that. So pest pressure is worse with weather fluctuations, with high heat, lots of humidity. I mean, I live on an island, but like, look at that. I had high hopes for this chamomile. Chamomile was one of the things that was producing well for me. And now, I'm not so sure. So, this is your update for the end of August. Oh, there's a ladybug over there. You're not pulling your weight though with eating the bugs. So that's the thing, is like we have slim to none beneficial insects and an abundance of destructive insects. So I'm going to sit in the shit with Mother Nature. I'm going to express gratitude when I can get it. Today I brought in some flowers. I'm going to be grateful for what food I do get. I'm going to keep planting and not giving up. I'm going to keep sowing seeds because it's still, a few months until my last frost date. And I'm just going to hope for the best still. I'm hoping that in September, when it comes next week, that I'm going to have an abundance of food. And my biggest issue is going to be, how am I going to preserve all this? That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I wish would happen. And that's the intention I'm setting out to Mother Earth, to continue to provide, to continue to give us what we need, and to continue to teach us the lessons. Right, Boo? Till next time, friends.